As we come on the air, a hurricane for the history books.
One of the worst power storms to ever make landfall in the United States.
Our CBS 12 News crews in Michael's path as the near Category 5 storm tore through homes, sent dangerous debris flying, and submerged hundreds of homes.
Just look what Michael's winds are doing to that street sign over there. Every couple of seconds we get a big gust.
Tonight, the devastation, the magnitude of the damage just being realized, and now the major threat as Michael heads up the coast. Breaking now at 11, unimaginable devastation. Rooftops ripped apart, homes shattered, floating piles of lumber left behind. A horrific scene families will never forget. Tonight, Hurricane Michael is responsible for at least one death in Florida. Tonight, we have live team coverage from the Panhandle to Palm Beach, where we're tracking all of the breaking developments. We begin with where the storm is right now. Let's take a live look in Macon, Georgia, where you can see the outer bands are starting to move in now. The rain and winds picking up. Michael is now a Category 1 storm, down from the catastrophic Category 4 it was when this video was shot as it made landfall in Mexico Beach this afternoon. Let's get right over to CBS 12's Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen with where Michael is headed next. Aaron?
The storm's still massive, but you're right, it has weakened, and it's weakening just about as quickly as it strengthened, and that's some good news. The faster it weakens, then the faster that those emergency crews can get in and help people out. This is the storm system now, and tracking still to the northeast. Still a massive storm system, and some of those watches and warnings for tropical storm conditions have been stretched all the way far to the north. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Northeasterly winds now at 20 miles per hour, pushing to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, 75-mile-per-hour winds as it crosses over into the Carolinas, becoming a tropical storm by tomorrow morning, and then just pushing off the Delmarva Peninsula by late Thursday into Friday morning, and then becoming an extra tropical low, but strengthening as it moves in over the North Atlantic. And here are those watches and warnings. Those tropical storm conditions now expected all the way up to Virginia, all the way through the next 24 to 48 hours. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at the rain and the near record heat that this storm will bring us in South Florida.
Hurricane Michael left a path of destruction in the Panhandle, and that's where we find CBS 12's Mike Magnoli. He continues our team coverage just outside of Tallahassee.
We're coming to you from Crawfordville again, and the wind from Hurricane Michael is still being felt here on the balcony. The surge took out the staircase of our condo. Matter of fact, most of the staircases in this complex of condos, but on both ends, the stairs are still intact. And I'll tell you a little bit about how our day shaped up. We were on storm patrol. We saw a lot of surge damage where the water had gone far inland, even on country roads where folks weren't expecting it to reach. We saw a lot of downed power lines, a lot of downed trees, and what we're hearing is that Mexico Beach is really ground zero in this storm. That's about 45 minutes away from here, so we're going to try to check that out tomorrow to assess the damage there, and of course we'll be checking in with you guys periodically over the course of the day. Wow, this is bad. The wind is still howling, but the surge is subsiding. Back to you.
The images coming into our newsroom tonight after Michael made landfall are gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. CBS 12 News anchor Paul Mueller continues our live team coverage in the studio tonight. Paul?
Liz, much of what we're about to see images people who live in that area have never lived through or ever experienced before.
These boats left rocking in the wild waters, these houses torn apart and left in pieces. Winds lashing at the coast, more houses torn apart, debris sent flying. In this neighborhood, trees snapped like toothpicks, roofs ripped off big buildings. Flooding, a huge problem. Some houses on stilts left standing after a 14-foot storm surge. This drone video shows a Panama City school destroyed, the gym without a roof, buildings taken down.
This ain't gonna work.
Even the professional storm chasers having trouble.
We know. I'm not really sure how we're going to do it. Oh, that was a piece of a tube.
The two no match for the rising waters.
I mean, we're in trouble. We're in bad trouble.
I get that. I mean, but right here we can climb up the side of this house.
Their car floating away in the storm surge. In Panama City, a 1-2 punch of wind and rain. On the nearby beach, power lines and trees swaying in the wind. People in tears, separated from their families.
I can't get home to my family.
This man watching as a tree falls on the road in front of him. In Port St. Joe, feet of water turning roads into rivers. While in Apalachicola, feet of water covering the ground.
Now, President Trump expected to visit all those areas next week to assess the damage. Live in the studio tonight, I'm Paul Mueller, CBS 12 News. Liz?
Unprecedented and never before seen. Those are just some of the ways meteorologists are describing Hurricane Michael. CBS 12's Chuck Weber is live with why this powerful Category 4 storm is unlike any other to hit the Florida Panhandle. Chuck?
Yeah, Liz, here in South Florida, we've had Category 4 and 5 hurricanes. Thankfully, not many, but this is a first for the Panhandle. Looking back in history here in South Florida, we've seen our share of major hurricanes, Category 3 or higher. The 1928 hurricane ravaged Palm Beach County, leaving some 3,000 people dead in the Glades and downtown West Palm Beach in shambles. There was the Labor Day hurricane of 1935 and 1992 Hurricane Andrew tore a path of destruction across southern Miami-Dade County. And more recently in 2005, Hurricane Wilma came ashore as a Category 3 storm before reaching Palm Beach County. And while the Panhandle has witnessed Category 3 hurricanes, Michael is the first to reach Category 4. Hermine, a Category 1 storm, visited the Panhandle in 2016, the first hurricane to make landfall in Florida in more than a decade. Prior to that, in 2005, Dennis came ashore as a Category 3 hurricane in the western Panhandle. And there in that graphic, you also saw Ivan, Oval, and Eloise, also Category 3 when they hit the Panhandle. But again, Michael, today, the Panhandle's first Category 4 hurricane. In fact, Michael, the first major hurricane to hit Georgia since 1898. And my thanks to CBS 12 meteorologist Lauren Oleski for her help with this story. Live in Riviera Beach, Chuck Weber, CBS 12 News.
Now, just within the last hour, Tallahassee Airport reopened for military relief to come in. However, commercial flights won't resume until at least mid-morning. Flights at airports in Panama City, Pensacola, and Destin-Fort Walton Beach remain grounded. In all, more than 150 flights were canceled and at least 20 more have been called off for tomorrow. And take a look at this video from CBS 12's Vincent Crivelli, who is a member of the National Guard. He was one of the 2,500 guardsmen deployed to respond to Hurricane Michael. Tonight, he is just east of Tallahassee, where you can see they are helping clean up debris from the roadways. We are very happy and very proud of our Vincent Crivelli. If you have friends or family in the Panhandle, you can check to see if they're safe. Facebook activated its safety check feature, giving users a chance to mark themselves safe. The Red Cross has a similar website called Safe and Well. There, people can list themselves safe, and you can search to see if a loved one checked in. Another case of West Nile in our area, where the virus was detected and what officials are urging you to do tonight.
Why a school's guardian angel is asked to leave, how the community here in Parkland is responding.
Bad for your brain, why getting too much sleep could be just as damaging as not getting enough.
And already watching another area of low pressure developing in the same exact spot that Michael started. We're going to talk about when this could become Oscar coming up.
Alpha Media Radio Stations, proud partners of the CBS 12 News Network, the one to turn to.